Hello everybody, hope everyone is having a good day. Can you guys confirm if the sound is good? If you can hear me, type in the chat so I know that everything is good. Just let me know. We're live in the Discord.
Good.
Excellent, great. Now, there's people that are in YouTube, there is people in the Discord. If you want to join and if you want to ask questions live, join in the Discord. The link is in the bio. Now, welcome to everybody. My name is Nikola, the admin of Fendi Capital. We're gonna talk about the market today because it's gonna be a crucial week. I want you guys to be aware of everything that's super important to come. Now, before I get started, I just want to announce a few partnerships. The first one is with BitGet. BitGet, that's the best crypto exchange right now. I'm using only BitGet at the moment. I'm not using Bybit anymore. I moved over to BitGet. If you wanna hop into BitGet, get a deposit bonus of up to $5,000 and 30% reduced trading fees, and also earn their own token. This link is inside the Discord in the section of partnership. So if you want to do that and you want to take advantage of this, because what I've heard is that most likely Bybit is gonna, get on the sides, and so far we have seen their volume getting lower and lower. So I just want to move into another place where I feel more secure, and this place is BitGet. As far as I know, the founders of BitGet, they're the same as Bybit, so it's pretty much the same. And also the interface is exactly the same, so no difference at all. So if you want to do this, go into the partnership section, and there is a link for BitGet. Also, if you want to trade indexes, commodities, and forex, there's a link for 8cap as well. I have spoken with the 8cap guys. Everybody that uses this link is gonna have reduced trading fees. So if you want to do that, go on. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be Bitcoin today. Now, Bitcoin, it's in a very crucial place, to put it that way. Now, if you take a look on the monthly chart, purely from this view, we're still in downtrend, like high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, and that's just, a high, but still this can be a lower high and we can continue lower on the monthly time frame. Okay, but we're gonna dive deeper and we're gonna get into the details in just a second. Now, let's dive in. Okay, so on the daily time frame, okay, that's the daily time frame. I have already put on the key levels, the naked point of controls, the naked session point of controls. Everything is on the chart, loaded, ready. So about the key levels, these are the key levels. If you don't have them on chart, you can just stop, copy them and put them on your chart. If you want to do that, go ahead. Now I want to show you something quickly about Bitcoin. Now that's the weekly TPO profile. Now something that I did notice was last week profile, and what you can notice is, usually, as you know guys, price is in a range 80% of the time, and what you can notice here is that prices have been perfectly range bound on the previous week profile until it shifts. What I mean by that is, let's say over here in this section, as you can see, we do get a drop. Then we have a nice bounce between the volatile high, volatile low, and overall between these two high volume nodes. Same thing next week, and over here it does shift. Okay, so that's a shift which you need to be aware of. That's usually not a bullish development in terms of the profile itself. Okay, but we're gonna talk about that in just a minute. I want you guys to take a note at this level, the volume point of control and the time point of control of the previous week are sitting in the same place where the CME closed. So that's an important level, and also that's a daily level as well. Okay, so be aware of this about Bitcoin. Now if we zoom in and if we talk about a price action purely by trading view, if we talk about, let's say, even the weekend itself, okay, so this whole drama with the SEC and stuff like that, we did have this drop here, okay, on Saturday. We did leave a low here, which actually didn't take these lows here, so it got it put in front run a little bit, but then we put a range, we're range bound. Then we actually had this push lower where we did took these lows, and we actually stopped out every single long position that was inside of this range and also this range here. So we got a nice push to the upside, but overall this push to the upside was just, let me just show you quickly. Okay, so if you can see here this single print row, it starts over here originally, it starts here, you can see the letter. Okay, from here to here is your original single print row. So the bounce up here is up to the single print row, and then we had that flush. That's where we did the swing failure pattern. Okay, 25,300. Okay, that's where you had the swing failure pattern after the rejection of the single prints. Then you had another move to the upside, and overall over here in the Discord I told you guys over here that I'm long and 25,700. But basically overnight we had this push, which was just to take out this high and overall fill the rest of the single prints. Overall at the moment I do consider them filled, to be honest with you. But at the moment we're seeing a series of poor lows. Okay, so that's a poor low, that's a poor low, that's a poor low. And these highs, they're good highs. That's a good high, that's a good high. So judging by this, I would say that, you know, most of the liquidity is linked to the downside just because these highs are good. At the moment I don't have any long position. I did close my long at 26.50, 26.60, something like that. It was over here around the London Open. It's all been notified in the Discord as well. Now what should you expect, or you should be prepared for? Now the first thing which I want you guys to be aware of is that every single person is looking at this parallel channel, so please be aware of that. Every single person is looking at this parallel channel at the moment. It's been very visible so far, you know. So a lot of people are looking at another move up, okay, just because we're back inside of this parallel channel. We're gonna see how this goes, but just be aware of what the majority of people are looking at. Okay, now if we take a look at the weekly, what I want to show you guys on the weekly chart is that we're kind of feeling this void right here. So we're kind of feeling that, but there is still a long way down until the whole thing is being filled. Now overall, what's most important in my opinion, if price starts to move lower, in my opinion, we're gonna see this daily being hit. Okay, before that, yes, there is support. Before the daily, there is a naked point of control at 24,850. Can you be expecting a long from here instead of the daily? I would say it depends how the reaction goes, to be honest with you. But in my opinion, the most important thing which you want to see, I would say, the value area high of this range being tested. Let me just show you what I mean by that. If we put a fixed range, okay, if we take a look at the fixed range, the value area high is over here, yes, at this naked point of control. And if we take a look at this range right here, the whole section, I would say you can see on the daily time frame. Let me just hide some levels so they don't distract us. What I would say here, you can see on the daily time frame on Thursday and on Friday you did back test the value area low and you haven't moved down. I would suggest that you actually do back test this value area high, okay? And yes, this is the naked point of control, pretty much the same level, I would say. And also beneath that you do have that daily, okay? But if we lose these levels, I would say that, you know, we pretty much accepted back into this range, and this whole section here is being a distribution. Okay, this whole section here is being a distribution, and from there we're gonna see how it goes. Pretty much for a bullish development, even if we don't make it here, I would say you want to see us getting accepted back into the value low and overall getting above the previous weak point of control, because that's the most important thing in my opinion as we stand. With the current data, I would suggest 26,500 is the most important level at the moment, in terms of, you know, if that's the bottom and we don't continue lower. But I would like to see this next point of control cleaned and this next point of control cleaned. I would like them both being cleaned, because if we clean them both, then we're not gonna have another liquidity to the downside. If you just take a look at the next point of controls, which are purely a liquidity points, okay, these are your liquidity areas. If you eliminate these two, okay, if you just delete them, then the next two you're gonna have to the downside are much lower. Okay, that's super bearish if you get down there. If you do get down here, okay, I would suggest you even go to 16k again. You don't want to be having this if the current price action is a bullish development. Okay, if this thing is gonna continue having higher prices and we're gonna see 39k, 40k, you don't want to be, you know, going below that point. You don't want to be seeing yourself going below these two levels. Okay, I'm just having back, because then your next liquidity areas are just much lower. That's what the naked point of control is. Naked point of control suggests where the most transacted volume is on a current day, week, or month. And if you actually see people, you know, trying to get on break even here at these levels, the liquidity levels, then most likely you're gonna have a push to the upside. And then if you start, you know, reclaiming some levels, let's say on the daily time frame, if this thing starts looking like this and you're having a nice bounce, and then probably a nice golden pocket back test, 8 out of 10 times you're gonna have a golden pocket back test, and then you actually have, you know, a new high being made, then you know, kind of change the market structure, then I would suggest that's a very good long opportunity. Yes, you can be longing for a day trade over here, but if you want to get the highest probabilities, you want to be patient, because you're always going to have time to re-enter. You're always going to have enough time to, you know, to put out a reaction to whatever data comes out. So yeah, be patient for these things. I'm just hearing some echo from the Discord. I'm gonna mute you, my friends.
Това е нещо като трънат.
Okay. Now purely, let's say about stop hunts. If we're gonna have some stop hunts, these are the liquidity levels, in my opinion. If we take a look on the daily time frame, you can notice that this one got run over here, and the next one's to the bottom, so these weeks right here. So on the daily time frame, this is the place where the most stops are, which are pretty much the same as the naked point controls. Yes, they're a bit lower, but be aware of them. And overall to the upside, as you can see, okay, a lot of people would actually mark out that high, but I wouldn't. The reason for that is that this is already a stop hunt being played out. Okay, so this stop hunt over here, okay, so this high is just a stop hunt from that high. So overall, it doesn't make sense to run a stop hunt. Okay, so if this is a stop hunt, which it is, you're not gonna, you know, price is not gonna go to it and just reverse because that's a strong stop hunt. No, I would suggest the best place for a liquidity run to the upside is up here, because here is the place where you have the most equal highs and the most poor lows. If you look at the TP on the daily time frame, this is the place. And overall, the next one to the downside, 2677, this is the next one, these highs right here. I will suggest these ones because, as you saw on the daily TPO, there are good highs over here. So if you have a stop hunt, it's not gonna be here, it's gonna be much higher. But anyway, moving back into the bigger picture, a lot of people are talking about this falling wedge. So be aware of that. A lot of people are talking about this falling wedge. can they be further from the truth and this thing just breaks to the upside? You know, if this thing just makes that, yes, it's possible. And also every single person that is trading this wedge is gonna get kind of stopped out. Let me just show something quickly. Let's just see how it looks in the most correct way. I would say that's it. I would say this is your most correct way to draw it, even though it is with a, you know, bigger pulsating price action. I would say this is the most correct way you can do the following wedge at the moment. But still, I'm not a pattern trader. I don't encourage this. People that are pattern traders, they're usually, you know, liquidity to the market as a whole. So I do not suggest trading just, you know, if this thing just breaks to the upside, you go long. I wouldn't suggest this. I know a lot of people will, and if I see some kind of weakness in the order flow, the moment this thing breaks out, I would go short here, to be honest with you. And if this is the time where we're at that level, which I told you about, 26,500, the previous week point of control, you know, if this is somewhere around that area, yes, I would go short and counter trade all these pattern traders. But just be aware of that. Now let's talk about the long setups and the short setups which can occur. Okay, because that's what we're here for, yeah, to make money. We're not here to talk, you know, just talk. We're here to make money, all right? And I get that. And that's the main reason we're all in the same place. We have the same objective. You're here because you want to make money, my friend. I'm here because I want to make money as well. But I want to show you the correct way to do so. Now, if we put all together, if we put everything together, if we put the naked point of controls, if you put the naked session point of controls, you can clearly see that you have a naked session point of control here, a naked session point of control here, another one over here. Okay, let's just hide them for a second. Let's move into the key levels. Now let's take a look at some things. If we pull a golden pocket from the high, let's just see something, golden pocket. So if you actually start having a bounce over here from the first naked point of control, your original target, in my opinion, would be 28,830. From the lower one, it's the same. Okay, from the lower one, it is the same. From the current one, I wouldn't say so, but let's just see something else as well. Okay, so as you can see, if you pull a golden pocket, if price, you know, just do something like this, and if you then pull a golden pocket, the place where you have a nice confluence is from these highs, if you pull it from them, or if you pull it from the overall high. So I would suggest that the first place you look for a long setup is down here. Okay, and you gotta see how this develops in order to have your invalidation, but still I would prefer to see the naked session point of control being cleaned. Okay, yes, that's a good level, but I would suggest the lower one. Maybe you can split your order in half, alright? About the stop loss, you do have to see how it develops basing on the reaction. You either can have it with $200 invalidation or maybe with a 700 or 500. It pretty much depends on whatever the reaction is, because you're not gonna go blindly long here just because, you know, we're touching this level of support. You know, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be patient with your entries. You want to be patient with whatever you're doing, alright? Pretty much, I would suggest you do make a new high. You know, that's gonna be your original target. I would suggest you do go for 40k. That's what I would suggest originally. But of course, you're gonna take profits along the way, because the aim of this trade is gonna be pretty much, to be honest with you, if you view this whole section here. Okay, let me just point it out clearly. Impulse, correction. Impulse, correction. Impulse, correction, impulse, correction, correction, correction. So the longer the correction is, the bigger the impulse is gonna be. But you don't want to be going just blindly long because you're touching the support and you're gonna aim for a new high. You gotta be careful, because whatever happens with the stock market is gonna reflect on Bitcoin. We're gonna talk about that in a second, because the stock market is in crucial levels as well. And in my opinion, there is we're in a dangerous place, to be honest with you. We're in a dangerous place both for Bitcoin and for the stock market as well. And that's why whatever happens here, you want to be taking profits along the way, okay? And I would suggest, if you get into a long here, okay, if price just remains range bound here, and you start getting lower, and then you do get a nice reaction, then you get into that long position with whatever the invalidation is. And I would suggest your first most important take profit is gonna be this level, this weekly point of control at 26,490. And from there you can take it on. I would suggest the next one to be this naked point of control, the next one to be this one, and overall you can, probably take partials and partials out. You don't want to be the person that just, buying there and holding forever and ever. Because the good thing about financial markets is that you're able to go in and get out. That's the beauty of financial markets. In my opinion, Wall Street is rigged, and people that are thinking you're gonna invest and you're gonna be rich are being fooled, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion about it. That's not the way you want to be getting rich or making money. Even with today's pace of inflation, if you invest into the stock market, pretty much you're gonna be on break even after 10 or 15 years. Okay, so in reality, that's not the way you're gonna make money in financial markets, just by buying and holding. That's not the way it works. I'm talking about financial markets as a whole. I'm not talking about crypto as a whole. Crypto is a different breed, in my opinion. I'm just talking about, let's say, the S&P, the SPY, Nasdaq maybe. But overall, with a 15 to 20% return per year, you're not gonna be rich. Okay. That's the way it is. That's the way the game is. Now, that's the main long idea I would suggest. You want to be having your stop loss defined by whatever happens here. And I would suggest, let's just take a look at that. I would suggest you do actually make a run to that golden pocket, to be honest with you. Overall into that area. And from this area up to here, that's 15-16%, which if you do on spot is pretty good. Like if you do this type of play several times per year, you're very good, in my opinion. Yeah. Now that's about Bitcoin. In my opinion, the more interesting thing and more easier, I would say, is actually on Ethereum, to be honest with you guys. Now if you move into the Ethereum chart, okay, because it's being a bit more technical at the moment in terms of support, because this thing over here, as I told you, you can actually run through them. Oops. Then you can run through them and then you can reclaim them, or you can just like bounce through them. The thing that is being a bit more clear about Ethereum, let me just show you quickly. Now I want you guys just visually, by looking into this chart, the thing you want to be noticing is this blank area here. Here you don't have almost anything on Ethereum, and you can notice that over here, that's your overall high of the range, which actually did not got run. It got front run over here with this high. Okay, so you want to keep this in mind. So whatever happens, if this thing starts to get above that, maybe it's gonna have a quick run up to 2.8, 2.9k. Still, it depends on the stock market and whatever happens there. I'm gonna go there in a second, just bear with me. Now, what I want you guys to pay attention to is the 4-hour time frame. Okay, you can see pretty much the price action is very, very similar, but I would say the support levels are a bit more defined in Ethereum. What I mean by that, if we take a look at the golden pocket, and overall, I would suggest for a bigger pool, okay, if you're looking for a bigger area, I would suggest using this, the 6.6, the 6.18, and the 7.06. If you look at this, and if you take a look at the naked point of controls, they're pretty much lining up with the exact levels as the FIB is suggesting. Okay, and also if you take a look at, let's say, this being A, B, C, D, E, okay, this pretty much aligns. And what I mean by the aligning, if you take a look at the SHIB extension from A to B, the 1-to-1 is coming at the same level as the first naked point of control and the daily level, so 1655. Alright, so please be aware of this. Overall here we do have a series of poor highs, I would say. This high here is no good, this high is right here no good. So in terms of market profile, I would suggest if you start getting a bounce here, and if you actually have a good reaction from that, then you can be having a run to 1930, 1940. And overall here I would suggest that this level here is not the strongest resistance, and I would suggest either a run to 2.3. And this is actually being more bullish in terms of development, in my opinion. So if you want to get into a long setup right here, that's the long setup which I would suggest, again on a swing type of trade. Alright, so this is the type of trade you want to be taking. Still, for the stop loss it has to be defined, because basically and also the anchored view up is there as well. If you take a look from the anchored view up from this low, where the whole the whole story started, it's pretty much aligning into that area as well. So that's your area of main support, anchored view up, daily level, volume level. So pretty much we have different types of levels. Okay, you have your volume level, meaning the naked point of control, the anchored view up, then you have mathematical level, e.g. the fib one, then you have a horizontal level, e.g. the daily one. So you have different types of confluences into one area, which makes the thing being strong, but also it's kind of very visible, so please be aware of that. What I would suggest is that if you actually do have this move right here, you clean out the naked point of controls and then you reclaim that daily. This is the place where I would suggest you go long, okay, once you have all these shorts being trapped. If you have a lot of trapped shorts, that's a very good long opportunity. And also if you probably just like make a run of this low, probably as a first reaction, you can be looking at the exact level, 1630, 1620, and then probably another move up. And as I say, the stop loss has to be defined, okay? So yeah, be aware of these things. The stop loss has to be defined, because it can be either a $100 stop loss, it can be a 200 one, it can be a 50 one, and you have to take it from there, in my opinion. Let me just take a look at something. Discounted monthly dealing range, a comment on YouTube. Everyone that has a comment, please go out, put it out on YouTube, put it out in the Discord. If you want to be joining the discussion live, join the Discord. Yeah, be aware of these things. If you want to join, go ahead, it's open. Yeah, the discounted monthly range, let's just take a look at that. Yeah, I believe that's what you're meaning. Yeah. Okay. But overall, what I would suggest, if you take a look on the monthly time frame, purely without any technical levels, please be aware, let's say on Ethereum you're gonna form a new monthly level at 1874, and actually I'm gonna mark this out right now, just so I'm aware. Be aware that most likely you're gonna form a monthly level over here, judging by the current price action. Yes, there is time until the monthly closes, but be aware that's gonna be an important level. We'll just take a look at something. Okay, so you see, if you actually come into that area, the golden pocket is kind of lining up with the monthly open and the weekly as well. So that's a good sign. So yeah, you can use this level as probably your first take profit. Let's just take a look at the volume profile fixed ranges. So you have the value area high pretty much coming over here. If you put to be more exact, let's see how it lines up. Okay, let's just take a look from over here. Yeah. Let's take a look at the previous range value area high on Ethereum. Pretty much coming into that one-to-one extension. Now, anybody got any questions about Ethereum or Bitcoin? If not, I'm gonna talk about the dollar, and then I'm gonna talk about ES and Nasdaq. I see some comments in the Discord. Let's take a look at them. Somebody's typing in. Raven, thanks. So you're welcome, my friend. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, share it with friends, invite people. I see a question. The first question is from Chris. Ethereum, what is the downward scenario, if any, in your opinion? To be honest with you, pretty much the same as Bitcoin. Overall, if you do not find support into that area, then I would suggest you're gonna come down into that area level and you're gonna retrace this whole move up. And that's the way I like to look at it. And to be honest with you, let me just show you quickly. Actually, let me move into a more clean chart. Ethereum USDT. Take a look at this. Pretty much the downside, let's say in terms of Elliott wave, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and overall, pretty much yes. You can find support down at that yearly at 12,000, I believe it is 1100 or something like. It's right below these lows, as I can remember. You can do find support there. Okay. I'll just take a look at that. Pretty much the bearish scenario, in my opinion, that's the way it looks in terms of Elliott wave. I would make another stream for my personal Elliott waves, but just the most short-term content which I can make right now about my personal Elliott waves and the whole section and the whole history, let's say, about Ethereum or Bitcoin. That's the way it looks, the current place, the most current place. Okay, so that's overall this being W. Actually, sorry. Just make this a bit more here. WXY. Okay, and we're gonna be looking at into $500 per ETH, something like that, 600 to 550. Yeah, that's the most bearish case in my opinion. But we're far from that, you know. Until you're above certain levels, I would suggest looking into that direction. I don't want to be looking at this right now until we do show weakness, okay? Until we show weakness, you're just gonna continue with the current trend, okay? Which in terms of current trend, I do mean high, higher, low, higher, low. Why not put another higher low here and over, you know, high, higher, high, and continue on. But overall, this is gonna be your most important area which you need to beat, and if you actually do beat that after a potential bounce here, you can be looking, you know, a new high essentially. But still, it depends on the stock market. Victorio, this question is general, but for example, I'll give Ethereum, let's say price action, clean all these naked point controls, and after that goes above the go and polkadot daily level, but we left a poor low. Will you move your stop loss to this poor low, or will you leave it as? To be honest with you, yes, I do see the screenshots. Let me just show you guys how that looks. Okay, so that's how it looks from the Discord. Everybody that's in the Discord, you can see them right now. So that's the first screenshot. E.g., if we do leave a poor low here, am I gonna move my stop loss there after seeing a potential bounce, or I'm gonna put my stop loss below here? Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question, and thank you for asking, Victoria. I'm gonna answer it in the simplest way I can. So I would like to look left, and I would like to see, to be honest with you, how the hourly candles close. Because if I see hourly candles coming back inside this previous range, let me just make it the most accurate as possible. It's gonna be like that. Okay. So if you take a look at this fixed range, I believe that's the most accurate way. Yeah. So if I see actually candles of 1 hour closing below this value area high, I would like to see the point of control being hit. And if I see bounce, let's say like this one over here, if I zoom into that area, you can see pretty much the point of control was a good S-star flip. So resistance goes above, has a nice push to the upside, but then it back tests it. And if I see this kind of wick on the point of control, I wouldn't go long. I wouldn't go long here. I would still wait and see how it goes. But I would like to see if 1 hour candles closing to the value area high, I would like to see the point of control being hit, and basing on the direction of the point of control, then I would decide what I want to do. Because if we actually start bouncing from the point of control and then we're back above this value area high, so if I move over here to the left, to the right, sorry, if we actually see candles closing, let's just delete this so I can illustrate it. See candles closing into the value area high, you would like to see the point of control being hit. And as you hit it and you bounce, if you actually start to break above the value area high, this means people don't want to rotate into the previous range. And if this actually happens, then most likely, yes, that's a long signal. Because people don't want to rotate into this range, this means people don't want to rotate into the value area low. Okay, let's say this doesn't happen. What if you actually go through the level, you take this naked point control, and then you actually reclaim this, and then you reclaim this? Yeah, you would like to enter, you know, entry here, and then you would like to have a stop over here. But to be honest with you, you can see pretty much this is being naked point control, naked point control, naked. So you would like, to be honest with you, taking at least two of them. And if you want to enter the most blind way possible, I would suggest the first thing that you actually showed. Okay, so the first thing you actually showed, this is the most blind way which you can enter. You want to be having your stop loss below that low, and this is not a bad long in my opinion. That's not a bad long if you're looking inside of a swing trade, which I showed you, in terms of a risk reward and so on. In terms of a risk reward, if you're taking this as a swing trade, you're really gonna be targeting a new high, and you're really not gonna take profit here, to be honest with you, if you're looking at this. But if you're being more precise with your entry, then you can, to be honest with you, you can easily take profit here, because it's not gonna affect your risk reward that much. But if you take profit over here, you're pretty much not good at your risk reward, because if you take a look, 0.7, you want to be taking your first take profit at least after the first 1 hour, to be honest with you. Okay, hope that answers your question, mate. Now moving into the DXY, which I want to show you guys, is on the daily time frame. So we do still have that parallel channel range, you know, low, high, swing failure pattern, nice move up to this weekly over here. At the moment we're finding support into the parallel channel mid. As you can see, it has acted as support over here, push to the upside. Over here it has acted as resistance. You can see you had a push to the downside, then you got back tested and you continue down. Over here, resistance, push back above into the weekly, move back down, front run, and then it actually got tapped. And at this moment, today's candle, would I suggest it's bullish or bearish? And where I would like this to continue, that's the good question. Let's move into the 4 hour time frame. So to be honest with you, this high over here, it's a good high. As you can see, pretty much you front run this level twice, then it actually taps it, and you can see pretty much the reaction from the exact level to the dollar. I would suggest that you're still in an uptrend in terms of super micro, you know, high, high, low, high, low, high, low, and this could be your high low as well, and you can potentially continue high, just basing on the 4 hour time frame. A lot of people are viewing this as a market structure change, but overall you can be being purely range bound between, let's say, this level here and, you know, this high over here. You can be looking at this range, you know, so that's a possibility. I would like to see if we're gonna continue lower. I would target this weekly, and if we actually break above this weekly, to be honest with you, I would target this weekly over here. So that's gonna be a huge run in my opinion. If you actually come above this weekly and you actually do come above this parallel channel and you hold it, that's gonna be a very bullish development for the dollar, and you can expect these prices being hit. But I don't see a reason you should be that bullish at the moment, because you're plainly being in a range and you're noticing just rotations between the high and the low, nothing else. So at the moment you just want to be patient with having some form of directional bias, you know, being higher or lower. If you want to see lower, you want to see us coming back below the parallel channel mid and holding below it on the 4 hour time frame, and if it does, you can be looking at this weekly over here, and we can see how that goes after that. That's about the dollar. Now let's move into the ES. ES is coming into a very important zone over here. So let's just quickly recap the price action of the previous days. It's pretty overextended move to the upside, I would say. Like that's pretty much, if you take a look at this on ES, that's pretty much parabola to the upside. Okay, so this can end up pretty soon, I would say, but you gotta be very, very patient with this type of entry, because this can just continue higher. Whatever. The reason it gapped up, actually, that's the continuous contract, because they changed up the contracts to the September one. Let me just show you quickly. ESU, which is the September one. Here it didn't gap up. Just delete that for a second. It didn't gap up here, but here it did, because of the change of the contracts. So here you want to be very patient with whatever short entry we're gonna take. I did have one on Friday, whatever. I have closed it. I'm not in any short trade at the moment. You don't see this type of weakness right now. So you want to be very patient with whatever entry you want to be taking. Now we're above this high. Here you do have like a pretty much blind area. You don't have pretty much anything between here and here. So you want to be very patient. If you take a look at the high time frames, let's say the daily time frame. Let me just take a look at this. Okay, let me just hide that. And actually I'm gonna pull this one. Come on. Yes, this is the golden pocket, but I want to use the 706 as well. So yeah, we're gonna be coming into this area over here, and what I am actually looking for the high time frames, because in terms of you know, macro situation, this thing is still there is still problems in the macroeconomic. So the thing I'm looking at the high time frames is this type of development on the high time frames, which is something like that. Okay, so that's what I'm looking on for, like super high time frames. In terms of directional bias on the ES, So be aware that in terms of a FIB time, the FIB time is coming on the 24th of July. Okay, so be aware that 24th of July. Just hide that. Okay. So there is gonna be enough in terms of this type of super high time frames trades on the ES. Let's say the way you want to be looking at this is first you want to see some type of market structure change, and then you're gonna be having a directional move to the downside, and you just want to be getting into the retests. You don't have to snap the exact high because that's a very let me just show you. If you actually have this move from here to here, you're gonna result an overall directional move of $600, which is over 2,500 ticks. Candles, not ticks, candles. So pretty much on the daily, day trade type of trades, you're gonna be pretty active, I would say, and you're gonna have enough time. So no rush. That's gonna be my overall directional bias, but I do want to see some levels being closed. I don't think this thing is ready for a new all-time high. I don't think it is. Yes, on the high time frames you did bounce from the macro trade too and pretty much defended this parallel channel high, but man, I don't think that thing is ready to run to a new all-time high, to be honest with you. After everything, I don't think it is. Still, we're gonna see how it goes. The more clean setup and pretty much the best setup I see is on Nasdaq, and that's the setup which I'm looking for. We do have a monthly level right here. If you take a look on the lower time frames, the trade deviation one, type of pocket area is over here. So this is the type of trade which I would like to take, tapping the monthly, tapping the deviation pocket tomorrow when the news come out, and then you pretty much gonna be entering stop loss. I would say $100 has to be pretty tight, and you want to be targeting over these two lows. Okay, that's what I would say. Yes, you can be taking some partials at this point of control, but I would like to see these lows being swept and over this point of control being tested. This point of control is the previous range point of control. Inside my Discord I've spoken about this before. Okay, so that's the setup on Nasdaq which I'm looking for tomorrow, to be honest with you. It's being very clean, but still you want to see us coming below this high. You want to see price action doing something like this, tap, come back. And I would suggest you actually, if you're being more patient, you want to be entering like this. It's not a big difference in the risk reward. That's 1 to 8 and the other one is 1 to 5, so not that much of a difference, is it? Be careful. Okay. Now, anyone got any questions about any of these assets? Just ask, guys. Let's talk about it. Anyone got any requests? Isn't that a very old monthly level for Nasdaq? Yes, it is a very old monthly level for Nasdaq. Let me just zoom out and so I can show you. It is a very old monthly level, my friend, but it is also very high of a previous range. So if you take a look, yes, this is the monthly level. Okay. If you take a look at the volume profile of the previous range, come on. So if you analyze whatever happened into this section, you do have the Valerie high coming over here. You did backtest over this Valerie low pretty accurate, I would say, and I was talking about this backtest actually over here. So you did. I can pretty much go back into the Discord and show you what I mean by that. So I've been talking about this week level here as a key level. So it did sweep these lows here, tap the weekly, come up above the volatile low, backtest, 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 sweep through the point of control, and I would like to see this point of control being backtested, to be honest with you, if this thing is gonna continue up. And overall this move is very expanded in my opinion. So you want to be having some kind of a pullback, or put some kind of a range between these levels, have some type of range. You don't want to be having impulse up, impulse up, impulse. So that's price 80% of the time is going to be between point A and point B, pretty much range. 80% of the time you're going to be range bound. So far we have seen so many impulses. You want to see this thing coming into a range for a little bit. Calm down, okay? Calm down a little bit. I want to say thanks for the stream. I must look at the educational sections before asking questions. My friend, please feel free. There's a lot of courses are available, a lot of information. Check out all the educational stuff. Everything that you need to become consistently profitable is available for free into the Discord. So feel free to look into anything that's gonna be helpful for you. Now Chris is asking for Nvidia. Just show you Nvidia quickly. Nvidia, coming into Nvidia. So Nvidia, pretty much I have the same thoughts about Nvidia. In terms of volume, I would suggest this area here is the most important one, which it needs to hold. If you have a push to the downside, I would suggest you do hold this gap. You don't want to be going below this gap open. And this is gonna be just like a monthly back test. Monthly back test, continue higher. No reason to be bearish at the moment. You made a new all-time high, prices in pretty much price discovery. No reason to be bearish on Nvidia. A lot of people are saying, I'm gonna short the fuck out of Nvidia. You're gonna lose all your money, bruv. You don't want to short an asset which is in price discovery. Look at Nvidia. Look at Nvidia. Who wants to be shorted that thing? That thing is just impulsing highs. This thing is just an animal. Especially with the AI hype. If another AI hype comes out, say hello to 410, 420. Pretty much it's in a very high market cap valuation at the moment. So you definitely don't want to be buying on spot, but you also don't want to be shorting it. Okay. No worries, man. No worries. If you're looking for a stock to buy, I'm still bullish on PayPal. I'm still having my holdings on PayPal. I am still looking for this thing to hit the $100 mark. Let me just zoom in so I can explain everything. So in my opinion, PayPal did a front run of this weekly, so it's very possible that we actually come back. The line you're seeing here, the yellow line, is the macro 786 on the log scale. If I remove the log scale, you do front run that weekly. So in my opinion, it is possible to come back, take out that low, have a push up, put in a range, have a lot of people shorting Nvidia into this range, and then you squeeze up higher. Once it reclaims the $70 mark, in my opinion, you're gonna squeeze up at least to 90 bucks. In my opinion, that's the stock you want to be looking at the moment. I mean, you want to be having this on your watch list, in my opinion. PayPal. That's probably the only stock I own at the moment. I don't own any other stocks. I'm also looking into Intel. Okay. The reason I'm looking into Intel, I would like to see this level being hit. To be honest with you, I would like to see this point control the weekly, and then you can be having your stop loss below this low, and you can be targeting this weekly up here to fill this gap. If you look at the high time frames, in my opinion, you can even take it up to 42. 42 is a very key low. You can see, even though it's like a SR flip, so support. You've seen that many times in your back test, and having this range right here. It's the same thing it did over here. So yeah, you want to be patient with stocks at the moment. You don't want to be buying any of them. I would suggest a lot of things are saying most likely stocks are topping out. So yeah, be careful with them. I'm being patient to see this thing. Okay, anyone got any questions? Anyone want to talk about something? Just type down in the chat and discuss it. Palantir, I have a question about Palantir. Palantir. I looked at this. I was targeting $18 last time. Let's just take a look at it, how it went. Yeah, he targeted $17.50. So I've been looking at Palantir for a while, and if you pull the anchor review ups from the whole listing, then from the all-time high they were pretty much coming into the same area. I know a lot of insider selling is happening at the moment. Let me just delete this for a second. The reason you see this, let me just explain quickly. Okay. So if you take a look at this, and if you identify the blue box as a range, and you pull low to high, you can see pretty much the deviations catching at the exact low and the exact high over here. So that's why I hit it the way it is. And then just hide the log scale. If you pull a golden pocket from this high to this high, you can see it acted as a very good support. Let me just show you how it went. It's pretty much another back test of this golden pocket, and then it just starts impulsing to the upside, but it leaves almost no support. If you do have a move to the downside, I would suggest you backtest this weekly level over here. I'm not bullish on Palantir. Just like basing this whole stock, I wouldn't suggest any high prices, to be honest with you. In my opinion, this stock is not something you want to be owning in forms of a long term. It pretty much depends, but I'm not bullish on this stock, because you're just having, you know, I wouldn't expect this to make a new all-time high after, you know, having a listing, having a push up. I don't like the price action. It's not my thing, to be honest with you. That's acting as a resistance at the moment. The only thing I would look at the moment is short setups. Let's just take a look at the daily time frame. I believe this is your current range in terms of parallel channel. And you know, the thing is, with this type of parallel channels, they're overall not bullish. Why? The reason they're not bullish is because you're actually not giving bars to enter into good prices. So as you're familiar, the reason why the bullish flag is being bullish after a nice impulse is because it is giving bars the option to get into lower prices. That's the reason this type of development is bullish. And you know, also the way shorts see this, they're aping shorts, and they have stops, and usually when a bull flag starts breaking out, you're just squeezing shorts as long as having longs coming in. It's pretty much the opposite here. Like, you're giving buyers the option to get into lower prices. Not really, you're not giving them this option, you're giving buyers the option to buy at higher prices. So pretty much I would suggest you do see bar exhaustion, so buyers exhaustion and sellers increase, because you're offering short sellers to enter into higher prices. So that's something you want to be aware of for Palantir. Can you see some of your favorite folks pass? Doesn't matter, just want to take some ideas. At the moment, the only thing I'm looking at is on Euro USD, I would say. Euro USD, I would like to see this long being taken in. It's gonna be in terms of a swing trade. I would like to see until the end of the year, in terms of fundamentals, I do see money coming into the euro more than the dollar. So I'm bullish on the Euro USD, and I would like to take this long setup. That's the thing I'm looking for. We do have a monthly, we do have a couple of ankle VWAPs. I would define my stop loss later on, but that's my preferred setup. That's the thing I want to be taking, to be honest with you. That's the only super clean setup. Nothing else really. I'm looking for a long on USD CAD, but I'm gonna enter into this tomorrow. We did sweep the May low. If you take a look on the 4-hour time frame, so that's your May low. It got swept and it got back tested and we had a move up, and you're now back into the value area. But I want to see how the news actually play out tomorrow, to be honest with you. Even if I miss this move up, I'm not that bad at it. I was able to catch the first pump and I got stopped at entry, so I'm not really battered even if I move, even if I miss a move up, to be honest with you. Yeah. I don't look in any other forex pair. Anyone else got any other questions? Or we can wrap it up for tonight. We have been live for almost an hour, a bit more. It's gonna be a very crucial week. I believe we're gonna make some nice money, to be honest with you. I believe things are being kind of laid out nice and clean, so we're gonna see how that goes. Can you chat about outs you see in good positions? I have no mic. Good question, mate. Good question. Let's take a look at some altcoins, shall we? Let's take a look on the daily time frame. I'm looking at DOT, to be honest with you. I'm looking at DOT. I'm gonna place an alert here at 393. I'm gonna place an alert over here. I've been waiting for this level for a long time. Long time. Okay, we're gonna fix that. Maybe a bounce to $6. Point of control. See if it arranges. Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm gonna be looking for DOT. Gonna see what the invalidation is. That's the first altcoin which I'm looking at. Also FTM found some pretty rapid move to the downside. I have an alert placed into that weekly level. The next one is gonna be GRT. GRT. Actually, that's the thing with altcoins. Usually you want to be looking at 1, 2, or 3 and you're gonna see how this goes. But this one actually, this was the bounce from here which we were looking for. It's this long setup. We got invalidated a long time ago. This is no longer valid. We're not seeing any bullish development. Oh, you know what? FTT, BTC. That's actually, yeah. That's the thing. Because there's some rumors for FTT coming back. Let's take a look at something. USDT. Let's take a look at this. Actually, nope, not interested. Link is another interesting one. I'm gonna place an alert over here if it reclaims that. So yeah, I've been waiting for, you know, this type of flush for a while. Overall link has been in a very good accumulation range, so this can be just like a spring essentially. Got the alerts over here. 560. Oh, I even now see a question. Chris R, what do you think of link long-term good accumulation levels? I would say you want to be seeing some reclaim happening, or it can continue going lower. Pretty much the whole narrative of link has played out, but you're sitting into, if you take a look at log scale, okay, you're pretty much inside a golden pocket in terms of super high time frames. So you just want to be a bit more patient. Place an alert above this weekly at 563 and just see how that goes. A lot of the outs are moving down because of the ECC crackdown, but nothing nothing crazy. I mean, nothing that's like super, you know. You don't want to be, in my opinion, you always want to be careful with altcoins. You always want to be careful with altcoins. That's why I don't own any altcoins, generally. If I get into one, I'm just like for a trade. Even if it's, and I also trade them just on spot. I almost never trade altcoins on leverage. I always trade them on spot. I still do have my validation and stop loss. The last one was Pepe, shorted the exact high, like G, make money. And it was signaled in the group as well. I don't remember when I saw somebody of the famous influencer short an altcoin like Pepe. About Atom, I'm looking at Atom at 452. I'm waiting for this level, but still there's a long way to go before that. Let me just take a look at Atom BTC because that's a bit more important for Atom. Yeah, it's okay. Overall, Atom BTC is being in a full range bound over here. Take a look at this. Have the highs, the lows. So this is just in an accumulation range against Bitcoin, in my opinion. I do have an alert down here, the weekly. Let's just take a look at something one-to-one where it is. Log scale. Yeah, it's coming into that area. Let's take a look at something else for Atom. Deviation pocket on log scale. It has to be somewhere there as well. A bit lower, but still it's okay. Yeah, you want to be seeing Atom coming back into that area, and then you can be looking for potential buys on Atom. I have an alert placed there. Yeah, that's about the altcoins. I don't look at any other altcoins, to be honest with you. Nothing. I don't trade in general, and they almost move the same way. I mean, if one moves up, the other ones are gonna move up. Still, there is this type of narrative like DeFi plays, AI plays, NFT plays. But in my opinion, if Ethereum moves up, or if Ethereum is coming into support, and you want to be making money with altcoins, you want to be buying. I mean, if you want to make money in crypto, you want to be buying altcoins. That's the way to put it. If Ethereum is coming into support, because if Ethereum starts moving up, then altcoins are gonna move up as well. That's the way you want to be looking at it, in my opinion. I've been in crypto since 2020, so it's been good 3 years, I would say. So, judging by my experience, that's the way you want to be doing it. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to talk. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.